Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Michelle and today we're going to talk about censor shaming. Now, this is something that is most prominent in the MBTI community. It is not as prominent in the wide world, right? It's not as common in real life scenarios, but it happens especially bad in the MBTI community. And I'd kind of like to talk about why that might be and maybe if we need to do anything about it. First of all, what's a censor? I mean, if you clicked on this video, you probably know, but if you don't, a censor is somebody who in MBTI terms leads with, or their second function is, a sensing function. This means that they're going to be more concrete, more realistic, more detail-oriented sometimes. I think the best term for censor is realistic. They are grounded much more in reality than intuitives are. So these are censors. Now, what is censor shaming? Within the MBTI community, especially here online, there is a lot of shaming of people who are this way. Now, I get it. There are some reasons for this, and let's talk about those. First of all, many intuitives grew up with censor parents. So those who did have censor parents often had bad experiences with their parents. Most of us do, by the way, have bad experience with our parents, but I digress. These intuitives have had bad experiences with censors for parents. If it's not the parents, then often it's people at school or at work. And we have these negative experiences, and these negative experiences shape our entire view of an entire group of people. Now, we don't seem to make the connection as much with MBTI type system categorizing as we do with, say, LGBTQ communities or people who have different religions. We don't see how MBTI categorization turns into that. Now, in this world, we heavily rely on labels. They can be very positive. The positive labels can be all the positive sides of things. Oh, I love these group of people. Oh, I've never met a bad this group of people. Therefore, all of those people are good. See, we make these connections that if one is one way, then more will be that way. And in a lot of times, we as humans, we take one or several. I mean, it could be a small group. It could be even a larger group of, say, 20. We take this group or one, and we say, this means that all of the larger group, say there's like a circle, and the smaller circle is the group of people that they have been hurt by within the larger circle. This entire circle has all the same traits as the smaller circle and therefore are exactly the same and are going to treat you exactly the same. I think we all do this to some regard. Say you have a bad math teacher in middle school. You're never going to like math because all you can think about is that bad teacher and how she really scarred you. And now you hate math and you don't know why you hate math except that you had a bad experience in 7th grade and now you can't get over it because your teacher called you stupid and now you just feel stupid at math. And I get feeling anger with math and with the teacher. It's not uncommon to have been hurt by other people. We've all been hurt by other people. Nobody has a life. Well, maybe there's always exceptions to every rule, but most people don't have a life where they were treated great by everyone. It just doesn't happen. But what you do with that hurt matters. When you take this hurt, this pain that you've been through, and use it as a defense mechanism against all people who even slightly resemble those that hurt you, you end up hurting more people in return. The saying an eye for an eye makes two blind goes the same for this situation. And now I deeply, deeply empathize with you and the pain that you have been through. I might not always be able to when I see a comment. I know that pain is real, and that your pain is real, and that your experiences are real. I am not discounting that. But there are things that we can do to deal with that pain. But creating pain for other people is not the answer. Complaining about the pain is not the answer. The most healing thing that almost anyone can do when they hate a group of people is to befriend somebody within that group of people. There's a reason why that is a common trope in stories. Just think of Romeo and Juliet. They are supposed to hate each other. They are supposed to loathe the very being of one another. And yet, they fall in love. They run away. And they kill themselves to avoid having to be in a life where they can't be together. Now, of course, this is an exaggeration, and yes, there is this romantic aspect, but I don't know if that story was really meant to be romantic or an analogy. When two groups of people hate each other, it's about the hate between two groups of people that cause two small individuals who want to overcome that hate, so afraid of facing the consequences of going against that hate that they take their own lives. It is an exaggerated example, but that is what's happening every day. Every day that we break ourselves off into little groups and make a decision that because one person has hurt us from another group, or that because 20 people or 50 people or 100 people have hurt us from a particular group, then that means that entire group is bad. And that's not right. That can't be right. That is what has caused wars for millennia. Because one group doesn't like another group. Because one has a problem with the other, they fight until one lives and the other dies. Now, maybe we're not in such a life or death situation, but maybe we are. Maybe we are, because we're in a time when what you say on the internet has just as much impact as what you might say in real life. Now imagine you are a censor, and you have just found out that you're a censor. And you read these comments. I hate censors. Censors are terrible people. I never want to be around censors. Fuck censors. And you find out you're a censor, and you see how people act towards censors. You wouldn't want to be a censor. I couldn't be a censor. I'm not mean. I'm not bad. How could I be part of this group? And then they decide to change and pretend to be an intuitive so they can fit in with the community, or they move on, never do it again, never look at it again, or they decide to take their own life, because what's the point in living if they have nothing to offer to the world? If no one's ever going to like them because of something about them that they are not fully in control of. Your words have power. Your words have impact. And hate has the worst kind of impact.